In the early hours of December 7, 1941, the skies over the Pacific erupted. From aircraft carriers hidden beyond the horizon, waves of Japanese planes surged forward, sleek, fast, and deadly. They were the sharp edge of an empire at its peak. This is the complete story of every major Japanese aircraft used in World War II. From legendary fighters to lumbering bombers, from flying boats that crossed oceans, to desperate suicide planes built for the final days. These machines carried Japan from stunning victories to total defeat. This is Imperial Japan's Wings of War. Japanese fighters. Mitsubishi A6M Zero, the most famous Japanese aircraft of the war, lightweight, long-range, incredibly maneuverable. At the start of W2, the Zero dominated the skies over China, Southeast Asia, and the Pacific. But its strengths were also its weakness: no armor, no self-sealing fuel tanks. When the Allies learned its secrets, the Zero began to fall. Kawanishi N1K Shiden, perhaps Japan's finest late-war fighter, originally a float plane, evolved into a deadly land fighter. Fast, heavily armed, and rugged. Too late. Too few. Mitsubishi J2M Raiden, a brutal interceptor designed for one purpose: destroy American bombers, short range, heavy guns, incredible climb rate, one of the few planes that truly threatened B-29 formations. Nakajima Ki-43 Hayabusa, the Army's counterpart to the Zero, even more agile, even more fragile, beloved by pilots, feared by enemies, early on. But by 1944, it was hopelessly outclassed. Kawasaki Ki-61 Hien, Japan's most European fighter, liquid-cooled engine. Sleek design, heavy armament, American pilots often mistook it for a German Messerschmitt. Ironically, engine problems plagued it throughout the war. Nakajima Ki-44 Shoki, Japan's interceptor, fast, aggressive, built to climb quickly and hit bombers hard. Pilots hated its handling, but it was one of the few fighters that could challenge B-29s. Nakajima Ki-84 Hayate, Japan's best land-based fighter, fast, well-armed, deadly, on paper. Production quality collapsed as Japan's industry crumbled. When properly built, it could match Mustangs and Thunderbolts. Bombers and attack aircraft. Mitsubishi G4M Betty, Japan's primary naval bomber, long range made it deadly and vulnerable, nicknamed the flying cigarette lighter by Allied pilots. One hit could ignite it instantly. Mitsubishi Ki-21 Sally, the Army's workhorse bomber, reliable, widespread, and heavily used across Asia and the Pacific. But like many Japanese bombers, poorly defended. Nakajima B-5N Kate, the plane that attacked Pearl Harbor, slow, obsolete, yet devastating in the hands of trained crews, responsible for sinking more Allied warships than any other aircraft. Aichi D-3A Valtran, Japan's dive bomber, deadly accurate, instrumental at Pearl Harbor, Coral Sea, and early carrier battles, but completely outclassed by mid-war. Yokosuka D-4Y Judy fast, sleek, dangerous. Originally powered by a German-designed engine, later used extensively in kamikaze attacks. Nakajima Ki-49 Helen, heavily armored, chrome-worn but underpowered. Japan's attempt at a flying fortress failed. Float planes and flying boats. Mitsubishi F-1M Pete, a small float plane that punched far above its weight, used for reconnaissance, artillery spotting, and even dogfighting. Aichi E-13A Jake, Japan's most common reconnaissance float plane, shadowed Allied fleets across vast distances. Kawanishi H-6K Mavis, long-range flying boat, used for patrol, transport, and reconnaissance across the Pacific. Kawanishi H-8K Emily, possibly the best flying boat of Ryuwanmum, heavily armed, extremely long-range. Even American pilots respected it. Trainers, transports, and special aircraft. Tachikawa Ki-54, advanced trainers that prepared thousands of pilots for combat. Mitsubishi Ki-57 Topsy Army transport aircraft, moved troops, supplies, and wounded across Asia. L-2D, Japanese DC-3, license-built version of the American Douglas DC-3, proof that even enemies recognized good design. Kayaba Ka-1 Autogyro, one of the world's first military rotorcraft used for artillery spotting and submarine hunting. Jets, rockets, and kamikaze. Nakajima Kika. Japan's first jet aircraft inspired by Germany's Mi-262 flew, but too late to matter. Mitsubishi J8M Shusui rocket-powered interceptor. Explosive speed, deadly instability, few operational flights. Yokosuka MXY-7 Oka, a manned flying bomb, carried under bombers, released at high speed. Pilots had no return, a symbol of desperation and tragedy. At the start of World War II, Japan ruled the skies of the Pacific. Its pilots were elite, its aircraft advanced, but technology alone cannot win a war. As resources vanished, training collapsed, and industry failed, Japan's air power withered. Yet these aircraft remain etched into history, not just as weapons, but as symbols of ambition, sacrifice, and the brutal cost of war. This was every Japanese aircraft of World War II, and this was the rise and fall of Imperial Japan's wings.